Okay, my dear friends, we are going to start with the
मैम
quasi
एक बार ना
contract.
मुझे थोड़ा सा डाउट आ रहा है कि
हाँ
मैं क्वेश्चन को इंक्लूड
हाँ
कैसे
जी
करना है, एक बार थोड़ा सा बता सकते हो, एक एग्जांपल छोटा सा।
अभी ये स्टार्ट कर लें बच्चे quasi contract, फिर उसके बाद स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, विल डिस्कस. Okay, so my dear friends, we are going to start with the quasi contract today. And if we talk about the quasi contract, then in this particular situation, we have already discussed that when we talk about the formation of the contract, in the formation of the contract, it says that the parties are there to enter into contract when they are willing to enter into the contract. So there should be offer and there should be acceptance with respect to the same. But certain situations or certain circumstances comes wherein the parties have not taken the initiative, parties have not offered or accepted the performance, but the situation, the circumstances, the legal obligations are such wherein the parties are going to perform, or we can say that there are going to be the legal obligations which resembles the contract. So these legal obligations are same as if the parties have entered into the contract. So there is, when we have discussed the first chapter, we discussed that the source of the contract is an agreement and the source of the agreement is from the contract. So we have discussed this table that contract emerges from agreement, agreements emerge from promise, and promise emerge from offer and acceptance. This thing we have already discussed, but in certain situation there is no offer and acceptance, but there is a contract, and this contract, from where it has emerged, this has emerged from the quasi contractual obligations. So here we have to understand this particular topic from the point of view that where we say that quasi contractual obligation, being a quasi contractual obligation exists, how this particular contract is important, and how we are going to move with this. So in this situation we just have to see that there is a situation where the quasi contractual obligation imposes as if the parties have entered into the contract. Then we say that what are the situations where the quasi contractual obligation applies. So here we are going to discuss it today with the help of certain examples, certain situations where the quasi contractual obligation arises. Right? So if we say quasi contractual obligations are those obligations which are imposed by law, and the rule on the basis of which this quasi contractual obligation arises are the two rules. One, that one, no one is allowed to enrich himself at the expense of the other. And secondly, that when we say the legal obligations are same as if they have entered into the contract. So there is the same situation. We say that the parties are bound to discharge their responsibilities, and if they do not discharge, the remedies available to the parties are same remedies in case of breach of contract. सो इट सेज कि जहां पर भी आपकी सिचुएशन सर्कमस्टांसेस ऐसे होंगे that where one party is taking undue advantage of the other party, it is not allowed. So there we say that this quasi contracts can also be called as the constructive contracts, or these can also be called as implied contracts, which are implied by law. So here we say that the contract is being entered into from the point of view that the parties are not intentionally have done anything wherein they are willing to perform, because when we say talk about the offer, we say that a person shows his willingness to do or not to do something, and when the other person accepts, gives his assent there to, the promise is being formed, and when this particular promise is enforceable by law, carries all the essentials under section 10, then in that particular situation the contract will be formed and the rules of Indian contract will apply. But this can be called as one of the exceptional situation, that where even if there is no offer and acceptance, there is, we can say, the contract arises. So when we say that these quasi contractual obligations or the legal obligation, and they have the foundation or situation to discharge their responsibilities, or the party does have the remedies in case if there is a non-performance. So all these rules are given under section 73. So wherein say it says that the parties have the obligation similar as of a contractual obligation, they are bound to perform, and if they fail to perform, then the other party has the right to go to court of law to get it performed. So now we have to understand that what are the situations or what are the circumstances where the quasi contractual obligations arises. So section 68 to section 72 talks about the circumstances or situations where quasi contractual obligations arises. So when we say quasi contractual obligations, quasi contractual obligations are those obligations which are imposed by law. These are imposed on the basis of that no one is allowed to enrich himself at the expense of the other. So if someone has got certain kind of advantage or certain kind of situation he has performed, so in that particular case the other party is bound to compensate, is bound to return or repay or reimburse the amount which is being given by the other party. So in this case, if you remember, so within the incapacity of parties, when we discuss about the minors, we have discussed about the section 68, where we talked about the supply of necessaries. Anyone can explain this particular point, supply of necessaries in case of minors or any other incapable person? Yes? Any one of you would like to explain this? Yes?
If a minor
Hmm.
gets such necessities from a person, the necessity should be that it is not a luxury, but it is necessity for his lifestyle.
Hmm.
If he is getting that, then the person who is giving him the necessities has the right to get compensated for
Hmm.
the amount he is supplying. But the minor is not personally liable, only his property is liable.
Very good. So when we talk about section 68 and when we say that the nature of minors agreement, so very clearly we say that an agreement with the minor is void ab initio. It means that the minor is not responsible for performance of the particular contract. So when it is void ab initio at its face, it says that there is no responsibility or no legal obligation of the minor, and when it is void, it means there is no contract, और अगर contract नहीं होगा तो हमारी legal obligation भी नहीं होगी. Is it correct? So as explained, that when we talk about section 68, that if a minor or any other incapable person or his dependents have been supplied with necessaries, then the other person who has supplied these necessaries have the right to get reimbursement from the property of minor, from the property of minor or the such incapable person to whom the goods have necessary have been supplied. So as per law, on one side we are saying that an agreement with the minor etc is void ab initio. So in that situation, if the goods of necessaries are being supplied, these are considered on the basis of quasi contractual obligation. So when we say quasi contractual obligation, it means that if the property of the minor is there or incapable person is there, though he is not personally liable, but the other person have right to get it claimed from the minor's property. So in case if it is being refused or it is not being given, the other person have the same rights as if he is going to have the rights under a legal contract, right? So section 68 says that if A supplies any goods of necessary to the minor or incapable person or his dependent, then in that case, he has the legal right to claim it from property of such incapable person. So in there is the legal contract, and it gives him the right to get it claimed as a matter of right. So I hope this particular point is clear to all of you. Then the section 69 says payment by a person who was interested in making such payment. Now, sometimes what happens that we are in a particular situation that we are not legally liable to make such payment, but we are making the payment on behalf of another person. So when we are making the payment on behalf of another person, and in that particular payment, we are also interested or we are also having some vested interest in that, then when we have made it payment on behalf of another, the another person is bound to reimburse such payment as if he has asked to make such payment on his behalf, asked to make such payment on his behalf. It means कि उसने हमें बोला नहीं है कि हमें वो पेमेंट करनी है, लेकिन हमने वो पेमेंट कर दी. अब उस पेमेंट के लिए उसकी लीगल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो उस पेमेंट को रीइंबर्स करे. दिस इज अंडर सेक्शन 69 अंडर क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन. अब इसके कंडीशंस क्या होती हैं कि दैट द अदर पर्सन इज liable to means have paid the payment. The payment is made on the behalf of other person, and in the payment he was also interested, he also had certain kind of interest. So once these conditions are being fulfilled, that is कि payment जो है वो दूसरे person के behalf पे होनी चाहिए. Secondly, the particular person should have also been interested in such payment, right? Then there exists quasi contractual obligation. तो जब ये दोनों conditions आपकी satisfy होंगी, and this particular the other person should have been bound by law to make that payment. The other person should have legal obligation, or we can say bound by law to make such payment. अब इसमें हम एग्जाम्पल्स ले सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी से दैट A is a tenant and B is landlord, right? And B has not paid the electricity bill for last 3 months. And he is not, in town. A has received a notice, means in the name of the landlord, that if the electricity bill is not being paid, the dues are not being cleared, so the connection of the electricity will be disconnected. Now A is residing there as a tenant, and he requires the electricity. He is also, there, so he is on the behalf of the landlord. Landlord has not paid, or he has not communicated with the landlord, or immediately there was a notice, or there was no possibility to contact as such. So A as a tenant have paid all the dues. अब इस सिचुएशन के अंदर अगर आप तीनों कंडीशंस देखोगे कि फर्स्ट द लैंडलॉर्ड हैव द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी द लीगल ऑब्लिगेशन टू मेक सच पेमेंट, the payment has been made on the behalf of the landlord, and B, the tenant was also interested in making the payment. तो जब ये तीनों conditions satisfy होंगी, so in this case when A has made the payment, there is a legal obligation that B is required to reimburse the amount of bill paid by A. यहाँ पर ए की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, ए को ए और बी के बीच में कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है दैट यू मेक द पेमेंट एंड आई विल रीइंबर्स यू द पेमेंट, बट स्टिल when we say about the quasi contractual obligation, we talk about section 69, then in that particular case there is the person should have made the payment on the behalf of the other, and in that payment the person should have interest, his vested interest as well, and the other person should have the legal obligation to make that payment. Once all these three conditions are satisfied, then as per section 69, the person, I'll give you more examples which are then such person is or liable to get the reimbursement from the other as if there has been a contract that the other party have told him to make the payment on his behalf. Here the example says that A is residing as a tenant in B's house and the electricity bill for last 3 months was due, and B is not here in town, he is out of country and he has not made the payment, and there has been a notice where the notice says that if the dues are not cleared by this date, then in that particular situation, the electricity connection will be disconnected, supply will be discontinued. In that case, B as A as residing as a tenant is interested in making the payment, because if the electricity will get disconnected, he will also face the trouble. So in that case, without communicating to B, he himself have paid or cleared all the dues, paid all the electricity bill charges. Now, as per law, as per section 69, the B as a landlord was having the legal obligation to make the payment of the electricity charges, and it has been paid by A on the behalf of B, and A was also interested in making the payment. So when these three conditions are satisfied, so under the quasi-contractual obligation, under section 69, A has the right to get all the amount reimbursed from B as if B has told him to make the payment, as if there would have been a contract. तो जब हम क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की बात करते हैं तो क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर पार्टीज के साथ आपस में नो ऑफर नो एक्सेप्टेंस है, लेकिन द सिचुएशन as per law is gives a right to the legal obligation, और वो legal obligation कैसी है, as if there has been a contract. तभी हम quasi contracts को implied contract या constructive contract भी कहते हैं, right? राइट. सो एज पर सेक्शन 69, बी जो है वो लीगली बाउंड है, और अगर बी पैसे नहीं देता है सो ए कैन गो टू कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ टू गेट दिस मनी फ्रॉम बी. अब एक और एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल यू नो सर्टेन areas of particular land was there, right? And this land has been given on lease to A. Now he has received a notice from the government that if these areas are not being cleared, this particular land will go into auction. तो अगर वो लैंड ए ओनर नहीं है, लेकिन अगर वो लैंड ऑक्शन में चला जाता है तो उसने वो लैंड जो लीज पे लिया हुआ है तो उसकी लीज भी कैंसिल हो जाएगी, राइट? तो ए जो है अपनी तरफ से उस सारे एरियाज को पे कर देता है. So now A has made the payment of those areas. He was also interested in making the payment, otherwise his lease would have got cancelled and he would have to locate for some other place. So in this case, A has made the payment on the behalf of the owner of the land. Now, in this particular case, the A has the legal right to claim that amount of area paid by him from the owner of the land because this has been covered under section 69 under quasi contractual obligation. ठीक है. अब कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन ले लेते हैं, सपोज कि ए ने लैंड लीज पे नहीं लिया हुआ, ए जो है बी का फ्रेंड है या रिलेटिव है, बट उसका कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है उसको पे करने के लिए. तो इफ ए हैज मेड दैट पेमेंट ऑफ दोज एरियर्स जिसमें उसका इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, so in that case it will not be covered under section 69. So in that situation, as a friend, if he has helped or if he has made the payment, so it is the sweet will of his friend that whether to reimburse or make that payment or not. तो अगर ए ने विदाउट एन फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड किया है, तो ए हैज द राइट टू क्लेम दैट. बट इफ ही हैज डन विद द फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड or to save his friend's interest, then in that case there is no intention to have legal obligation, तो वो वैसे ही आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं बनेगा. सो वेयर वी से दैट सेक्शन 69, तो सेक्शन 69 कहता है कि अगर आप पेमेंट करते हो तो उसमें ये तीनों कंडीशंस सेटिस्फाई होनी चाहिए, तभी आप अंडर सेक्शन 69 अंडर क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन दूसरे से वो पेमेंट ले पाओगे वापस. राइट? एनी क्वेरी अप टिल नाउ? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, now the next example is that if there is, we can say, section 70, that is right of a person to claim money for a non-gratuitous act. Right? So it says that if you have done something with a feeling of gratitude, with a feeling of help, with a feeling of we can say, any economic motive, or with a feeling of satisfying certain your social or emotional needs. So in this particular situation, you do not have any intention, right? So you have done it. तो यहाँ पर आपकी कोई intention ही नहीं है किसी legal obligation को arise करने के लिए, right? So here the example which I have given, that A is a friend of B and he has made the payment to protect the interest of his friend. Payment on behalf of B दिया है, payment on behalf of B. But this act has been done with a feeling of gratitude कि कोई बात नहीं, मेरा friend है, मैं उसके लिए payment कर देता हूँ, उसका कोई नुकसान ना हो. For example, a car has been parked in a no parking zone and there has been some fine for that. So because his friend was not around, A has made the payment. And this has not been made from the point of view that he will take it back. So in that case, B is not responsible to return it, right? But in another situation, if there has been any money being paid or anything being done without any feeling of gratitude, then the other person have the obligation to make the payment. Right? So in this case, the feeling or the intention of the party making the payment exists. Another example we can take that, for example, A went to market to buy his book, and there was a scheme that you buy one book and get one free. Right? Now in this particular case, A have got the two books of same author, of same subject. So obviously he is not going to use the two books. So there is an option that he can give the book as a gift to B, right? So when he gives one book as a gift to B, he is not entitled to get any money back. But if A says to B that I have the price of the book is 600 rupees and I have got two books in 600 rupees, so you take this book from me in 300 rupees. He has given the book, and he this particular book is given not with a feeling of gratitude or not with a feeling of a gift. It has been given that I am getting two books and I am getting it as half of the price, so it means it is implied that B is bound to pay 300 rupees to A because the act, the gesture or the activity has not been performed with a feeling of gratitude. तो जहां पे वो विद अ फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड होगी क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन नहीं आएगी, लेकिन जहां पर आपकी विदाउट फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड होगी, देन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन, चाहे बी ने उसको बुक खरीदने वक्त नहीं बोला कि अगर आपको दो बुक्स मिल रही हैं तो आई विल बाय फ्रॉम यू, इवन इफ देयर इज नो communication, no offer acceptance, but there is implied contract on the basis of quasi contractual obligation, right? Is it clear up till now? Okay, let's move further to the last example. Two situations we are left with. Yes bache, please ask your query.
मैम जैसे आपने बोला कि लाइक फीलिंग ऑफ ग्रैटिट्यूड होगी तो फिर नहीं मतलब आगे कंपनसेशन मांग सकते, बट हाउ कैन वी प्रूव इट कि वो था या नहीं, बिकॉज ऐसे हम लोग रिटर्न में तो ले नहीं रहे हैं.
Bache, we have discussed in the first chapter itself that if there is, we can say, implied contract, even if there is a verbal contract, it is valid one. You remember the first chapter?
Yes, ma'am.
So even if it is a verbal contract or something like that, so there is, it's going to be the valid one. I don't know, it stopped working. Oh, that's why. I need to go under some training to learn more about this Photoshop and all. Okay, right. So let's continue. We have discussed up till now the non-gratuitous act, and then we are left with section 71 and 72 about the responsibility of finder of goods and the money paid under mistake or coercion. So if we talk about the responsibility, I can continue the class for next 10 minutes. I hope
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
let's complete this topic, then we'll take a break for a day or so, right? So when we say the responsibility of finder of goods, there comes two aspects. One, that when the goods are being found by someone and he takes the goods into his own custody, then in that situation, he is in the situation of a bailee. Now, you will ask me, ma'am, what is we known as a situation of bailee? So, when we'll discuss about a special contract, we are going to discuss the contract of bailment as a one of the special contract. So, contract of bailment says कि अगर किसी को हम goods देते हैं for a specific purpose, the other person is responsible as a bailee. So in that case, the person who is delivering the goods is known as bailer, and the person who is to whom the goods are being delivered is known as bailee. So there are certain rights and duties of such person to whom the goods are being delivered. So all these rights, duties, etc., we are going to discuss in detail in this particular section, contract of bailment. But here, when we talk about finder of goods, so if a person have found the goods belonging to another, and he takes the goods into his own custody. So there is an implied contract of bailment. तो इम्प्लाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ बेलमेंट किस हिसाब से हो गया कि देयर इज अ क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन. ओनर ने तो उनको नहीं कहा कि आप मेरी गुड्स अपनी कस्टडी में रखो, बट इफ ही हैज फाउंड एंड ही हैज टेकन द गुड्स इनटू अ कस्टडी, सो देयर इज ऑटोमेटिकली एन इम्प्लाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ बेलमेंट. तो उस केस के अंदर जो बेली है, जिसको गुड्स मिली हैं, जो फाइंडर ऑफ गुड्स है, उसकी कुछ ड्यूटीज हो जाती हैं. वो क्या होता है दैट ही इज रिक्वायर्ड to find the owner. So he is required to put the efforts. ये नहीं कि goods किसी से मिली और अपनी custody में आपने उन goods को enjoy कर लिया. So if you have enjoyed or used those goods, तो जो उसका actual owner जब मिलेगा तो you are bound to compensate, reimburse, return or make the payment of those goods because you are not the owner of the goods. You cannot use those goods. So उस केस में सबसे पहली ड्यूटी हो जाती है that you need to find the owner of the goods. दूसरा, you need to टेक केयर ऑफ द गुड्स. आप अपनी गुड्स जो है दूसरे की गुड्स को, it's not like that you have found the goods and then you have taken it in your own custody and you have kept it negligently so that anyone can come and anyone can take away those goods. So another thing is that he is required to take care of the goods. Thirdly, he is not required not to misuse the goods, right? And then another duty is that whenever the owner is found, then he is required to return the goods. तो ये जो सारी duties और responsibilities किस basis पे आई? These have come under section 71 of Indian Contract Act on the basis of quasi contractual obligations, that no one is allowed to enrich himself at the expense of the other. So if the goods belongs to someone else, so even if we have got the goods, but we are not allowed as per law to use those goods or to, keep those goods as our own. So we are not allowed to enrich ourselves, or we are not allowed to enjoy the goods which belongs to another. So similarly, he have certain rights also. If he has incurred certain kind of expenses in finding the goods, in maintaining the goods, or in taking care of the goods, so he should get the money back, right? So he has those rights in as per the law, that if he has kept the goods in his possession or he has taken care of the goods, तो जो भी expenses उसके होंगे वो आपको देने पड़ेंगे. And in case if the owner of the goods have announced certain kind of reward of the particular goods, he is entitled for the particular reward. और इसमें इसके अंदर return करना है goods and he cannot sell the goods, right? But in case if the expenses of maintenance increase the 75% of value, then he has got the right to sell the goods. And also, if the owner refuses to pay the price or expenses of the goods, he can keep the goods. Refuses to pay necessary expenses, then he can either keep the goods or he can sell the goods too. So these are the situation where he is, in the position of a bailee. There is, as per the law, as per section 71 of Indian Contract Act, as per the quasi-contractual obligation, if anyone finds goods belonging to another and the other person the person have taken the goods into his own custody, there is implied contract of bailment. So this is, we are going to discuss contract of bailment and other essential in the next class. But as of now, if we talk about quasi-contractual obligation, we have to mention the rights and duties of the, we can say, the particular person who has taken the goods into his own custody. So we are left with the last point. Let me discuss this one too. That is the goods received under coercion or mistake. Okay. Okay, the last quasi-contractual obligation situation, and it is given under section 72. That is that if anyone have received any money or any benefit under coercion, or in case of mistake, be it the mistake of fact or mistake of law. So, in this particular situation, when we talk about coercion, coercion means physical threat, any activity forbidden by IPC, or we can say detaining or unlawful detaining of property of another. So, in this particular situation, here we are not talking about coercion as an element of a unfree consent. Here we are talking about कि अगर किसी सिचुएशन में अंडर कोर्जन आपको कोई भी मनी या कोई भी बेनिफिट आपने रिसीव किया है, so as per quasi contractual obligations, you are bound to return or restore that benefit received from the other party. There can be one example that if A has, on the basis of threat, have taken away the car of B, then he is bound to return or restore or any money or anything under the particular situation. In case of mistake, we can say that A has paid certain taxes or charges in a on a particular goods, and later on, in a particular case, these taxes or charges or the particular authority who was claiming that have been declared invalid, then in that case, A has the right to get reimbursement of the same, because the money which he has paid have been declared as void, have the person, the authority does not have any right to claim that. So in that particular situation, A has the right under the quasi contractual obligation to get the reimbursement of those charges which have been paid by him. So that's it in the quasi contractual obligation. So we have discussed about, we can say, what do we understand by quasi contractual obligation. Then we have discussed about section 68 to 72, minors case, incapable person case. Then we have discussed about payment by person who is also interested in making the particular payment. These three conditions should be satisfied. Then we have discussed that if a particular person have done anything without a feeling of gratitude. For example, he went to B's place, his friend's place, and he was carrying a packet of chocolates or a packet of certain gift, but he left it by mistake at B's place. He has the right to get it back. So if his friend has consumed it, used it, he is bound to return or restore on the basis of quasi-contractual obligation. Then we have discussed about section 71, and wherein we have discussed about the finder of the goods, and then we have discussed section 72, where the money benefit is being received under coercion, mistake, or fact of law. And section 73 says that whosoever has received any benefit or is in a situation of section 68 to 72 is under a situation of a contract and under the situation of performing the legal obligations. And if the other person fails to perform, the person, the aggrieved party, can go to court of law to get it performed or to get compensation for non-performance. Right? So in this particular case, the quasi-contractual obligation itself become a particular situation. There can be a question in the exam in terms of the particular situation or circumstances is being given, or it can be in form of certain, direct question that what can be the situation of the cause